don't know why.
The X's are on your right. Please.
The exit tells on
Oh,
your
okay.
right, and
All right. All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sorry. It's just the way you were saying is like, please sit back and enjoy, and thank you for flying with us.
Anyway,
All right, start the second period
start of the second period right
in
now.
my
So what's the
game.
score? So what's the score?
Oh yeah,
Yep,
your
face
yours
off.
is the only game going on right now. There's gonna be a few coming on right now. We got about to start right now. We got Arizona,
Yeah.
Colorado, Ottawa, Edmonton, St. Louis, and San Jose. And the last two games for tonight is gonna be Montreal versus Vancouver and Los Angeles Kings versus the Anaheim Ducks.
And right now, Vegas is on the power play. Minnesota is up 1-0, and the second period just started.
That's
All
pretty
right,
cool.
one zip.
That's pretty cool. You want to know something interesting? Most of the California teams have a actual like name for their like every single time they play each other, they have like an actual like name
The
that
rivalry name?
yeah, the rivalry has a name.
Freeway
Really?
series.
So it's the
No,
Freeway
but that's baseball
Series.
too.
So it's the Freeway Series for the Angels versus Dodgers in baseball. In
Hmm.
hockey, they call it the Freeway Face-Off. Um, football doesn't have one because I'm guessing the Chargers and the Rams don't really. They're two different. They're
No, they
two
don't play
different
often.
divisions, aren't they? AFC.
They share. Oh,
They're two different conferences, AFC
They're
and
two different
NFC.
conferences. Yeah.
right.
And because of how small the schedule is, they don't really want to do that. The NFL, I don't think until the Chargers are at like peak condition, I don't think anybody really wants to watch Chargers versus Rams. Um, I don't know what basketball has. Basketball doesn't really have a name for it. I don't think so, at least.
Yes, it does. It's actually called the Hallway Series. Clippers versus Lakers.
Oh, because
Oh, for fuck's sake!
they're right across the hall.
Hallway
Well, so what's
series.
the one with the Kings and the Sharks called?
There's no name for that one.
Reverse sweep. The reverse sweep.
Oh, I haven't even told you the MLS one.
Oh, El
Oh,
Tráfico.
yeah, the dumbest shit. Oh my god, I hated it so much, and it doesn't go away. Whoever, I don't know who
Do you
did
know
this,
why
but
it's
if you could
called that?
find the source of whoever invented and decided the entire media will
It's
call the series between the Galaxy and the LAFC El Tráfico, I want your head on a fucking platter because you're an asshole. I
there's
hate that name.
there,
Oh my god.
there's a reason why, because usually the big match is called El Clásico in Spanish, like Real Madrid and Barcelona. That's called El Clásico
Yeah, El Clásico, exactly. Tráfico, fuck off.
because of the traffic in LA.
California Classico would be better.
California class. Oh, you know what? That's Galaxy versus San Jose. That's
Oh,
LA Galaxy versus San Jose Earthquake is California Classico. That's
gotcha.
probably
So we're gonna cover MLS now. I like that.
why. I honestly when it like MLS and NHL, there's probably not enough. There's probably not enough
We're so
content to do a
niche.
weekly show. Yet we're still here.
So niche. Yeah, we're still here
Oh, it's
with
very
our
niche.
insanity.
Oh, it's gonna.
With
Oh,
our
it'd be such a niche audience. You
what-
think that you think people who get their sports fix on YouTube is a niche audience? Just MLS fans is a niche audience for sure.
yeah, because majority of
It's
soccer
growing.
fans will.
It's
Yeah, but
Yes.
let's be honest.
growing
The
though.
majority of soccer fans will not be looking at MLS. They'll be looking for the Premier League, the Bundesliga,
Yeah.
La Liga.
Just get
MLS is pretty much professional football's retirement home.
Yep.
for the most part.
Basically, they don't want to when they don't want to deal with the snow anymore in their home country. Then they don't want to deal with all playing on Christmas or whatever. They just come over here and play spring summer schedule. If their team qualifies for like the World Cup or the European Championships, they just take a month off.
NBA is probably
Hmm.
the only sport in California. Actually, no. Eh. Would you consider Thanksgiving a big deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ends.
Depends.
Depends on what. I mean, Thanksgiving is a big holiday.
That is true.
It is,
That is true.
but in the sports realm,
Well, I mean,
Well,
unless
no,
you're in
but-
Dallas or Detroit.
Well, okay, so yeah, no. So I was gonna say NBA is the only American league that doesn't care about their holidays, but the NFL puts a game on Thanksgiving every single year, and I mean that
Yeah.
should be a time with your family, and that's pulled away. The NBA
NHL too, but I think if they play
NHL
games in NHL,
well, the
it's
NHL.
if
so
they're in Canada.
well, what? Well, I mean, if you're in Canada, you don't really celebrate Thanksgiving because that's not a holiday that.
No, but it's Canadian teams. I think Canadian teams play like some
Or
like
what?
1 or 2 Canadian teams play.
Well, yeah, Canadians
They
do
actually-
play on Thanksgiving, but the whole point is that for the Canadian audience, they don't have the day off, so the Canadian audience wants
Yeah, because their
to have
Thanksgiving
game
is in
on that day,
October.
but the U.S. audience
yeah.
needs a break. Anyway,
It's our annual holiday that we.
My argument's not valid anyway because the NHL has one giant outdoor game on New Year's Day. The NBA plays on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and the NFL plays on Thanksgiving. College football plays on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. My point's invalid anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter what I say because it doesn't. My point's
Baseball plays on 4th of July.
Baseball plays on 4th of July.
And Memorial Day.
I have worked
Labor
minor
Day.
league
And
games
Memorial.
on 4th of July. That's actually a fun fact. The city of San Bernardino, which hosts the Inland Empire 66ers, my old workplace, they actually got like a agreement with the city that 4th of July baseball game was going to be the city's like official fireworks show. So if you wanted to like be there for like the fireworks show that is like official to the city standards, you go to a baseball game first, and then you have to watch the fireworks show after. So they always
That's not
have
bad.
4th of July as a home game. So
Bro,
I have worked
mean-
2 4th of Julys on a baseball field.
That's awesome.
I don't even. Oh my God! I don't even know what I did for 4th of July last year.
I was crying because there was no sports.
I probably didn't do anything because I can't even.
I was
remember.
crying because there was no baseball. I was like, no baseball on 4th of July?
Ay, ay, ay.
No baseball?
But luckily,
So-
sports are creeping back. Sports are here, and sports are happening right now, like hockey.
Yes.
Like I said before, it's kind of hard to do a weekly show about the NHL because the NHL is not as exciting as we thought it was. We thought the NHL would always have intrigue and drama like the NFL does, but we're not seeing too much of it. The closest thing we got to
Well-
today was Tom Wilson decided to put a man's head smashed into the boards. I think that's the closest thing we've gotten to today.
He decided to kill
Ovechkin
someone again.
Decided to use his
He
stick.
decided to kill exactly. He decided to kill someone today. God damn it, Tom Wilson.
He woke
That's
up
where-
and chose
that-
death.
He lives free in a
He
Yinzer's
woke up
head.
and chose
He lives rent free in a Yinzer's head.
apparently. So that's honestly the closest thing we've had to controversy, really. Like, the NFL's having free agency, the free agency commotion, and the NBA is
That's for Wednesday.
that's for Wednesday exactly. The NFL's having
Let me
free agency
take a look
commotion. The
here.
NBA is playing an All-Star game and probably still getting a low. I mean, I don't know what the TV ratings are. That's just me being a butt. But anyway, the NHL
Well,
doesn't have too much going on.
Austin Matthews has a wrist injury.
Austin Matthews. Oh, so what? Austin Matthews day to day.
No, he was. They're off, so they haven't said anything.
Okay. Yeah, so no news on that.
But it's still. I mean, that North Division is just.
That
it's just
North
gonna be-
Division.
Is an embarrassment.
Oh, so yeah, so Matthews had a wrist injury. He's back from it, but the unfortunate thing is that wrist injury has definitely affected his shot as he's had no points in 3 games.
Well, who cares? It's the Leafs. We all laugh at the Leafs.
Yeah, it's the Leafs. Another player.
Well, we did have some sad news over the weekend in NHL related.
Yeah, so it was funny as well because like I think the first thing all of us said in our head was Wayne Gretzky. No, oh, it's not Wayne. Okay, but
No,
it's-
when I just saw Gretzky, and I'm like, The
No,
fuck?
no, no,
Like, I
no,
literally, my heart just dropped.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait, I was just caught up into some sort of genjutsu.
To the father of the GOAT, Mr. Walter Gretzky.
Walter
Rest in
Gretzky,
peace.
Yeah. So the hockey world was very mourned by it, and I honestly didn't realize that that man made such an impact because like we all know that he obviously made an impact because Wayne Gretzky is now the greatest hockey player of all time. So that makes a lot of sense. But nobody actually realized like how much he meant to the NHL world until that day. That it just shook up everybody.
I didn't even know about his impact
Everybody
in
was
the
giving their
NHL world.
condolences. So yeah, it's definitely sad to see him go, but hopefully what he does is still an influence to all, not only hockey dads out there, but just sports dads in general. They continue to set the right standards for their kids.
Yeah, he was suffering from Parkinson's.
Mm-hmm.
Suck.
Hmm.
Alright. Enough doom and gloom. Let's see what else
I'm
we
gonna
got.
check the standings now, just to get that sort of out of the way.
Well, the standings are pretty good. Unless you're in the north.
So yeah, unless you're in the north, Toronto's still running away with it. Winnipeg now in second, though. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So Winnipeg is
I
now in
think
second place with 31 points. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. That's pretty interesting to see.
who's in third?
It's Edmonton, but Edmonton I would have expected to be in second. But
Yeah, I had him
they're
in
only down
second,
by a
I
point,
think.
though. They're only down by a point. And then Montreal closes out the top four with 28.
And Ottawa's in last place.
Ottawa's in last place. Still not the worst team in the NHL, though. So Ottawa has jumped out of that grave.
So who dons the
Team.
hat
Good
of
for
shame?
them.
It's from the team that dons the worst in the NHL is from the mighty East.
Buffalo.
New York.
Buffalo. Oh, the Buffalo.
15 points on a 6-game losing streak. Not going so hot for the team that I thought was going to frickin' all of a sudden jump out there, but oh well. The team that I thought was
they
just all
have-
of a sudden jump out.
Taylor Hall and fucking Jack Eichel are just like, let's just get drunk. Fuck it.
Apparently.
Let's do what the locals do here.
Fuck
Eat,
it.
eat a shit ton of wings, drink a shit ton of beer, and jump through a table.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, when you're doing that, you did that when Buffalo was on an insurgence in the Bills, but I guess not anymore.
I mean, it's kind of weird because like what 10 was it 10? No, longer. Like in the mid 2000s, Buffalo was like almost a cup contender. They had Danny Briere and other names, but then they just fall
Jason
off a cliff.
Pominville.
Yeah, they had Jason Palmaville, Danny Briere. They had other players, and their goalie was pretty good. And I remember
Yeah.
in 06, what they were like, they made it to the conference finals where they lost to Carolina, and then from there they just fell off a cliff. Similar to Ottawa. Ottawa made the finals in 2007, and they lost to Anaheim. And look where they're at now, the basement.
Exactly. But Ottawa now in the basement, which is really funny because almost like Jacksonville, it looked promising and then just steep decline. But who knows? There will be a player just like Connor McDavid was the Oilers. There will be a player that transcends them and puts them back on the map. So we'll see when that player comes. Other than that, Buffalo still in last. Minnesota and LA are fighting for the last spot. With Minnesota right now winning, they're right now still going to secure it. But if Minnesota loses tonight and LA wins, it gets closer. I don't know if it flips because I think you get 1 point for a loss and 3 points for a win.
No.
There's so many tables I have to keep track of in sports. I don't know the point
It's
system anymore.
two for a win, 0 for a regulation loss, 1 for an overtime
Okay, so at this
or
moment,
shootout loss.
Minnesota would still keep their spot even if the Kings do win because Minnesota's up by 2. But if the Minnesota loses in regulation, the Kings win tonight. They'll just be ahead 2 more points, which is also funny because Arizona's tied with LA for 25. So Arizona's playing Vegas, or not Vegas. They're playing Colorado tonight. I want to say.
Well,
Yeah, they're playing
and
Colorado
Arizona's
tonight,
playing
and in
Colorado.
fact, Arizona is up 1-0 right now.
Ooh,
the entire
Joey's
West
not
is
happy.
close.
The
Aside from
Central
last
is
place, the
tight.
entire
The
West is close,
Central is
isn't it?
tight.
Yeah, I think if there was a division that it's going to be literally a fight to the end, it's going to be the West. So
And the
I'm
Central.
pretty excited about that. Kings are a lot closer than everybody thought they would. That's all I'm happy for. I said this when we did the prediction. I'm like, everybody keeps on throwing them out, but they still have young guns that will push them up. And while it wasn't the young guns, they're still higher than everybody thought they would be, which I'm very happy with.
I saw a thing on a graphic on Fox Sports. It had 3 of the best winning percentages are in the Central Division.
That is, yeah.
Florida, Carolina, and Tampa.
Well, besides, with you three, besides Vegas and Toronto, you're the only 3 teams above 700.
God damn.
Not bad. That makes it.
Yeah,
that makes the Central must-watch television. When Florida, Carolina, or
it's,
Tampa play each other, it makes it much. Because like in the other leagues that have above 700, so the other 2 are Toronto, obviously, and Vegas because they didn't play as many games. They hit COVID, Chan. Because of the fact that all of those teams have had 700, you guys are now must-watch television because everybody wants to see the 2 dogs fight each other out, which means that Tampa versus Florida is a good matchup again. So that'll actually be exciting to see that rivalry finally.
Sunshine Showdown.
The Sunshine Showdown.
One of the first hockey games I went to, I think it was the 3rd hockey game I've ever been to, was Florida versus Tampa, and it was the home opener. That place was loud. Everyone was saying, "Oh, nobody goes to Panther games," and I was like, "Buddy, Tampa versus Florida, regardless of what's going on, if it's the first game of the home if it's the first game in home, that place is gonna get loud."
Which teams keep on getting hit with the stereotype that nobody goes to their games?
Yeah, it's always Florida teams.
Florida,
I mean,
so Florida and Tampa Bay, Arizona, I know always gets hit with nobody goes to their games.
Carolina.
Buffalo.
It's weird that Carolina actually won a cup almost 20 years ago. Fuck.
15 this year.
15 this year.
And they went to one in 2002.
Where they got beat up by Detroit.
Yep.
At that time, everybody was getting beat up by Detroit.
Yeah, that's true.
In that decade,
even Colorado.
Even Colorado. Well, Colorado at that time was a team that everybody that they could be cut favorites and actually compete for a Stanley Cup. Right now, everybody keeps on saying Colorado's the Cup favorites, and they just keep on underperforming. They gotta stop. Colorado, we keep on saying Colorado Cup favorites, and they keep on underperforming. Like, come on, stop.
Do you think Nathan MacKinnon needs a sidekick that isn't Matt Duchene?
Landeskog? Wouldn't that be Landeskog or
yeah,
Duchene?
well, yeah, that entire line is supposed to be filthy. That entire forward line is supposed to be the best forward line in hockey this season. It's not though.
He doesn't need a sidekick.
He doesn't. He
has sidekicks.
He has the line.
He has a 1 and a 2.
The problem is that they just cannot do it, and I don't know what is making them not be able to do it.
Where are they at in the standing?
They're right now 3rd.
For a team that was supposed to be, the Cup favorite, they're not looking like a Cup favorite.
Terrible to be in 3rd place and a Cup favorite. That's awful.
Unless, I mean, things change in the playoffs, but
Yeah, those 4 slots are just a ticket to the playoffs.
yeah.
Everything is decided in April and May.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hey, it's just one team with a spark, and that's it.
like
Look how many
Dallas last
teams
year.
yeah, look how many teams have been cup favorite for the past couple of seasons. It's like Toronto was a cup favorite. What happened in Toronto? They lose in the first round, like always. Tampa, they get swept, which was awesome. I was laughing so hard that
We
day.
all were.
Not to mention the President's Trophy curse.
The President's Trophy curse, of course. How can you forget that?
Hey, just saying.
I mean, didn't the Kings win the Stanley
They
Cup as
were
an
the
eighth seed?
8th seed in 2012. Back when the playoff format was the.
Wasn't all screwy.
See, this was a thing that people don't realize. That nowadays they're like, oh yeah, the wild card system. Oh yeah, that makes sense now. When you've lived so long, and in fact, when the NBA still does it and nobody makes a fuss, the NBA still does 1 through 8, and nobody's making a fuss.
Mhm.
The NHL decides to switch it up, do this wild card thing, because I'm guessing they were tired of every single team in the Central making it to the playoffs. I think that was.
I think
that
it was
was the reason
also.
for it. The reason for it was that every single team in the Central was making the playoffs. Well, actually, no. They're
I
still.
kind of want
They're
to say
still.
yes.
I mean,
I
they
kind of want to
still
say
are.
yes. I kind of want to say yes, but there was a year that I think it was the Panthers who won the Southeast Division, and points wise, they should have been a lower seed, but they won their division.
Yeah, no.
I think it was. I think it was the year you guys won the cup.
But yeah, 2012.
12, yeah.
2012, the
Yeah.
Kings were the 8th seed, and not only were they the 8th seed, they were actually beating opponents, and every single series, the Kings always won games 1 through 3. Every single series, from the first round to the Stanley Cup final, every single time the Kings have won games 1 through 3. The only
That
difference.
was a reverse sweep.
No. The reverse. No, that was the opposite way on 2014. In 2012, if 2012 was the dominance year, 2014 was the comeback year. Every single series felt like a comeback of some kind.
Oh yeah, the first 3 rounds. You guys went to 7 games, right?
Yeah, so each of the 3 rounds were to 7 games. And the first round was a reverse sweep, going down 0-3 and then coming back to win all 4 games in a row to San Jose. But 2012 was an absolute dominance. It was the opposite. They won the first 3 games, every single series, and either they swept they swept the Blues in the second round, and they lost Game 4 in the round 1 and the conference finals, and then won in Game 5. And then the Stanley Cup final went to 6. But that's fine because we won it at home. So I'm completely happy with that.
Both of those Stanley Cup teams are filled with dogs, man.
Anyway, that's enough of me basking in glory because I can't really do that anymore.
Those guys were grinders.
Which I'll bask in more glory because we're doing the whole lineup thing again.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a hard time with that.
More nostalgia. Other than that, yeah, other than that, the standings are looking nice. Nothing new to report on the stats because the stats are still the fucking same. Mrazek is probably going to win the Vezina. Kaprizov is probably going to win the Calder, and McDavid is going to probably win the Hart. There, I said it. There's nothing new. And not only is there nothing new, but the differences in the stats are exponential from first to second. Literally in the stats, Kaprizov has right now 19 points. In second is 15. Connor McDavid has 43 points. In second is 38. Peter Mrazek, a starter, has a 0.99 goals against average. The second spot is a backup goalie for Toronto with 1.36, but I bet you he's only played 3 games. I don't report on the stats anymore. There's no, hey, guess who's on top? Because it's the same fucking people, all right? At this point, just give him the award. McDavid wins the Hart. Frickin' Minnesota gets a Calder and Kaprizov, and Mrazek with the Vezina. Come on.
So, When you guys picked Kaprasov, what selection was that?
Shit.
Undrafted?
Was it?
I think it was the first round.
Was he a? Ooh, nope. I'm looking this up now. All right,
Look it
this
up
is.
now because I remember a few years ago, like the whole talk was, oh, it's Lafreniere, Lafreniere,
Oh!
Lafreniere, Lafreniere.
Fifth
Nobody talks
round.
about Lafreniere now, huh?
Fifth round. Number
A fifth
135.
number 135. So the 135th overall pick in the NHL draft is doing better than the number one overall pick that everybody had him. That he's the next one. That Lafreniere this Lafreniere, and you don't hear shit about Lafreniere anymore. So what the hell's going on? I mean, was he overhyped or because I said is like this kid, the way they're treating him, he's either gonna be a great player or he's gonna be a freaking bust.
Although I'm gonna flex again. I'm gonna flex I'm gonna flex some team's muscle. Gabriel Velarde is one of our rookies, and he's also doing well with 11 points. So good for him. Good for him.
Let me take a look
And
with me.
oh, hold on. Is your goalie still? Oh, your goalie's not here anymore. Who the fuck is Aiden Hill? Oh no, there's another goalie problem again. I told you this system's messed up. So this is funny. So the second player in goals against average is freaking Jack Campbell, who used to be our backup, but we traded him because Toronto needed a backup goalie terribly bad. How many games did Jack Campbell play? Oh, I want to know because he's a backup.
So,
He's only played 3
There's a-
games. My point stands. Mrazek wins the fucking Vezina.
there's something I want to put out to you guys. I was on Twitter a couple of days ago, and one of the sports journalists up in the city says that the only reason why Kaprizov is leading in the the Calder is because he played 5 years in Russia, played 5 years as a pro in Russia, and that he shouldn't be eligible to get Rookie of the Year.
Who the
You
hell
guys agree
cares
with that
that's
or
in
no?
Russia?
No.
Who the hell cares? Russia's Russia.
Take it from the guy who is at one of the best hockey universities in the nation. Just because he didn't play where every other American played does not mean that he is treated differently. In fact, he either had it harder or easier on him. Think about, you know who else plays in Russia? You know who else plays in Russia? Who am I thinking of? Somebody who's, there's somebody I remember sawing. I think he used to be a Detroit Red Wing, still playing hockey, and he plays in Russia. Who the fuck am I thinking of? You know what? Pavel Datsuk.
Oh, I was about to
He
say
still
that.
plays
He
in
plays in
Russia.
Russia.
He still plays in Russia.
He's old.
And he's old. So here's the thing. I do not think that because he did not go through the system that every single either Canadian or an American player needs to go through does not mean he doesn't get to go for the Calder. Because you know what? That just means that he was more trained for the NHL.
If anything,
Good, 'cause
yeah. If
Wild
anything,
Wild fans ripped him apart online.
Let me say this. Luka Doncic didn't come from an American university, play his 1 year, and then get drafted in the NBA. Does he not deserve to be Rookie of the Year? Does he not deserve to get the MVP? No.
Mm-hmm. He played in Spain.
He played in Spain because he is international. He's an internationally born person. Came to America to play NBA.
Well, I mean that's a case in every in international sports.
That reporter, I don't want to make any guesses on what they are, but something tells me the reporter just has some national pride and thinks it's unfair the boys here in America and Canada have to play in the American and Canada semi-professional leagues before they can even touch the big time, while people in international can play in very far competitive leagues. They can play in their professional leagues in their country and then come play in America where it's a lot more competitive. Yeah,
If anything,
there's-
it's better training.
it's better training. So what? The best players in the nation are from international.
Yeah.
Oh well.
That means step up your game.
Yeah, okay. I do feel bad that I'm flexing my Kings thing here, but Dustin Brown was the first U.S. captain to raise the Stanley Cup. Think about it.
God damn.
Every single captain that raised the Stanley Cup was not American. Until
Wait, didn't Madonna raise the cup? Wasn't Madonna
Yeah, I think-
captain in?
Might have been.
oh man, actually wait,
In
no,
1980?
I don't know.
I know Madonna's
I know
American.
Litz-
He's from Michigan.
I know Lidstrom was the first European captain to lift up a cup.
Like it can't just like there's not just Canadian players out there in the NHL.
Right.
There's Americans,
There's
there's Finns, there's Germans, there's Russians,
Swedes.
there's Swedens. I mean, like, one day we'll have a fucking player from Australia be in the NHL. Why not? That'd be fucking great. Are you kidding me? Like,
The Crocodile Dundee in the
if
NHL.
there is any league that is the
There's
most
even-
if there's any league that's the most diverse in all of American sports, it's hockey, because hockey didn't originate from America. So it gets to be the most diverse American sport. It originated in Canada. But that doesn't mean that you should then just say, "Oh, because it, like if you're mad that the international players have more experience and they're way better than the Canadians or the Americans, fix your system."
Mm-hmm. Don't like they start like in the QMA whatever the fuck it is.
They have like a bunch of
Yeah.
leagues.
Juniors.
I know they have like I know they have like OHL and
The OHL, then the
about it.
CHL.
Think about it. The World Juniors is a great way to show you that hockey is international. The World Juniors is a great
Mhm.
example. Okay, so so we talked about it. The final was America versus Canada,
Yeah.
but like even then, like when I hear talks about World Juniors, it's never ever like they always say like, yeah, America's dominant, but that's not the first team out of their mouths. Like the first team out of their mouths is always, I think the one I hear the most is the Swedish. The Swedes are the first ones I hear out of the mouths, and then Canadians. Like Americans are still bottom of the pile even in the World Juniors. Which, by the way,
Yeah,
that'll
'cause they
make
always
the
go, like-
Olympics very, very interesting to watch. Olympic hockey will be very interesting to watch when it's 2022.
Yeah.
Because I know the NHL and the Olympic Committee have not. I'm pretty sure they're still not in agreement, and I'm pretty sure they're still going to be using amateurs. So
That sucks though.
that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to watch. It's,
Yeah,
not
'cause
like it's not like the NBA, where the NBA gets to have the Olympics fall in the summer when there's no NBA going around.
Yeah, because they tried with the World Cup of Hockey, but they didn't. It was just a one-time thing.
Yeah, and it was I don't know. So that's actually a good topic to talk about. The World Cup of Hockey. Going back at that. Cuz how long was it? It was back in 2016, wasn't it? Not
Yeah, it
2016.
wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago. The World Cup of Hockey. For those of you who don't know, the NHL because 28 so the Olympics that there were no professional hockey players was 2018 Pyeongchang.
2018 Sochi.
2018
Sochi.
Sochi.
And,
Sochi
Wait,
was
no.
14.
no, Pyongyang. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
P-
Pyeongchang.
P-
Pyeongchang in 2018,
yeah.
South Korea. The NHL had a big disagreement with the Olympic Committee. And granted, the World Cup of Hockey was 2 years before it, but there was a big disagreement with the Olympic Committee because the NHL did not like the fact that players went to the Olympics, fought, and competed for their nation to then come back home tired, exhausted, and a lot of times injured. The NHL didn't like it because then they couldn't perform and get paid to play in their league. So because of that, there was a big standoff, and at the end, 2018 was the first time in a while that the Olympics was played with amateur hockey players. And the winners that year with the gold medal was the People's Republic of Russia, or whatever the fuck their weird ass name was. because they were
Olympic
doping.
athletes of Russia.
Because they were
Yeah.
doping. Also,
Yeah, 'cause
I
the-
will say I was heavily for the Russians shouting to the top of their lungs and overpowering the Olympic national anthem. I was all for it. I was all for it. They were sitting there on the podium. Every single one of the players and every single fan in attendance was basically like trying to overpower because they could have the Russian national anthem. It had to be the Olympic national anthem, and they were just like trying to like sing to the top of their lungs and overpower it so you couldn't hear it. And I was all
Oh,
for it.
that's good.
But
I
anyway,
mean,
yeah.
the thing is, from what I've seen in terms of the Olympics, the international leagues like the KHL, because I know the KHL is basically all of Europe now. Because it used to be like the SM Liga in Finland, the Sweden had its league, and they would have a pause if there was an Olympic year, so they could represent their countries. That's why you had like some notable former NHL players in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think China. I think the KHL spans to China now.
Yeah, the
Even.
KHL's in Japan.
But anyway, yeah. So because of that, 2016 before the Olympics happened, the NHL tried their own hands at, well, we can't have professionals play for them. We'll do our own thing, so that the professionals could play for still represent their country, but they could still play on NHL's terms. That the NHL could still have control over what they do, and it's not as really competitive and not as professional. Obviously, if something's not competitive or professional, nobody watches it. NBA
Right.
All-Star Game. So
I only watched like one game
Because
of
of
the
that-
World Cup of hockey.
nobody watched the
I
game.
didn't even watch it.
It was an amateur bout, and it had nothing to do. I think if they were getting paid for it, it was like very little to their actual contracts, and there wasn't anything to do with their record. It was just basically a game just to say, and not even that. But what hurts more is that they couldn't even represent their country.
Oh yeah, I think if you were a rookie or something like that, you were representing North America.
So another thing they did, just so they could have rookies in the game, they did the North America under 18s. They took the best players from Canada and America and put them into one team that were under 18 years old. So basically, the best of the Canadian World Juniors team. It was not
Yeah.
successful. It was not successful
No.
whatsoever.
I mean, a league that did a better job was MLB with WBC.
When it's not serious, no one cares. That's just it.
Yeah, that's true.
When it's not serious, no one
Right.
cares.
The only World Cup we care about is the soccer one. Let's be honest.
Well, and even then, like that's
Right.
actually them fighting for their country. Like they care for that. They
That's
go all
like
out for that.
the-
They're allowed to go all out for that.
That's life and death in some countries.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Yeah.
entire nation stops for like for like a week for the group matches for the FIFA World Cup.
America actually gives a shit. America watches soccer for a lot of people the first time in like a fucking 4 years.
Well, it's coming here in 2026.
Oh, is it actually?
Yeah.
Where?
We're gonna be co-hosting with Canada and Mexico.
Oh
They
yeah!
specifically
Oh, yeah,
Picked
that's
it because
right.
it's our like 250th anniversary.
But I know they couldn't do America alone, so they joined. Yeah, I remember hearing talks about that. How like because America couldn't get the power itself to do it, they co-joined it with Canada and Mexico to get more firepower and more support for it, and it worked. And the stadiums that they're all using are beautiful stadiums, especially in Mexico and Canada. So even though like a lot of the stadiums are in America, I'm still excited to see games in Canada and also Mexico. I remember that, yeah, because it's gonna be very spread out now that they have all three countries. But that's a conversation for another time.
I think they were talking about having the final around the 4th of July weekend.
But
We'll
that's
see.
when they usually. We'll see.
That's
We'll
something that
talk.
when the time comes we'll know.
Yeah.
It's
Speaking
so
of,
far out. We still have to figure out how to get fans in just a normal NFL game, let
We
alone
gotta get COVID under control.
gotta get COVID under control before you can even freaking get.
speaking of COVID, it was almost a year around this time where the seasons got stopped.
Mhm.
A year on March 11th,
Yeah, and what's
Hmm.
funny is that
when
for
Rudy
most of us,
Gobert decided to be an idiot.
it wasn't mostly his fault. Like, here's the
No, it
thing:
wasn't.
Rudy Gobert was an idiot to the sports world, but we're all forgetting somebody had bat soup.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that little known fact. Somebody had bat soup.
Well, it's a delicacy in China.
Apparently, that
I'll just say
delicacy
what I want to
definitely
say off
spread.
air because we might start an international incident.
Will we though? Everybody already hates our guts.
Yeah, but we're on YouTube and I shouldn't say what I really want to say.
Okay.
But I'll just do the animation.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Anyway, should we make this conversation a little bit more lighthearted?
Yeah.
Should we go to the lighthearted stuff then?
All right.
Yeah.
So
If you want to
if
explain the
you
rules, Christopher.
don't call me Christopher. Sorry.
Chris.
All right. Yes. So if you watched our show last week, we did a lineup for baseball with our teams and our handsome mugs with one more person. Usually for the hockey show we would have another person who says hot takes, 11-5. But since he's not here, we're going to move on without him cuz screw him sometimes. So, since I'm a Panthers fan, we got a Wild fan and a Kings fan. We're gonna do our lineups, but two of our teams have been around for a less time. So to make it a little interesting, we're gonna get an opponent as well. But this opponent is from the original six era, from the start of the league to the 1960s when it was just six teams in the NHL, which consist of Detroit, Montreal, Toronto, Boston, New York, and Chicago. So, Frank, do you have a six-sided die with you?
I do. Let me go. Actually, no. What we'll do is just so that the people can see, I will set up a lucky wheel. I'll set up a wheel
All right.
so that everybody can see what's being picked on stream.
All right. So basically, whoever gets that team has to do a roster for that team. So it could be like a
So the original six was Blackhawks,
Red Wings,
Red Wings,
Canadiens,
Canadiens.
Maple Leafs, Rangers, and Bruins. So in a way, we're also going to go back to hockey history, which is probably one of the best sports histories out there, probably after football or baseball.
Mhm.
So we're gonna look at a lot of pictures of black and white and skates that look like something out of a rental.
This is gonna be hard.
Not if you do your research, my friend. Not if you do your research.
Well, speaking of hard, do we want to make it interesting?
Oh, what do you want to? What do you suggest?
Time limit?
Yeah.
Huh?
Time limit?
Time limit?
Time limit.
We have a certain amount of time to put our list together.
Oh, you want to do this now?
Not now, but when the time comes, do you want to have a time limit on how long we take? Well, actually, no. So, because I'm also thinking because it's also because our show will be definitely running long if we implement all of these things. You know what we might do? We might save this. I think we should save this idea for another day, just because we're already running really long on time now. What we should probably do is just do our own lines, and then we could do this another day.
All right.
Just because it's already been like 45 minutes, so
Yeah, we got like 10 minutes left.
anyway. So then in that case, we'll go the opposite we did on Wednesday. So we'll start on my bottom at Tanner, and then we'll go myself and then Chris. And like I said, take as much time as you need to nostalgize over these players as you want.
So for my first line, at left wing I have Zach Parise. At right wing I have Mr. Wild himself, Marian Gaborik. And for the center I have Mikko Koivu, which is my captain. My second line I have Andrew Brunette, Nino Niederreiter, and Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Third line I have Brian Rolston, Cal Clutterbuck, and Charlie Coyle. My fourth line, I have Jason Zucker, Mikael Granlund, and Wes Walls. My defensive pairings are Jared Spurgeon and Nick Schultz, Marco Scandella and Brent Burns, Ryan Suter, and my enforcer, which is Derek Bugard, rest in peace. And my two goalies are Nicholas Backstrom and Manny Fernandez.
Not bad.
It was hard.
No, not bad.
That top line is.
It was
really
a little
good.
hard. Yeah.
I really like that top line. That top line is strong. So what did you say your starting goalie was? Backstrom?
Nicholas Backstrom. He played a decade with us. He owns most of the records for goal. He owns most of the team records for goalies.
That's funny because isn't like a defenseman on the Washington? I think is Nicholas Backstrom as well.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I'm thinking of is that Nicholas Backstrom. But all right, yeah.
And Manny Fernandez was our original goalie. He played here 5 seasons.
Ooh, nice. Any cool stories there about any of these players?
Andrew Brunette. He's the guy who scored during our 2003 run to the Western Conference Finals. Andrew Brunette is the guy who put the final dagger in the Avalanche.
Nice.
Overtime Game 7 in Colorado. So, and Mikko Koivu, 10-year-long captain of the Wild. Marian Gaborik, Mr. Wild himself.
Yeah.
And there is a story. Derek Bugard. Very, very popular player up here. He's the best enforcer we've ever had. Unfortunately, he succumbed to drugs. He accidentally overdosed back in 2011. Very, very sad.
Oh man, that's awful here. All right, so then that's me next. All right, for my lines, my top line is Luc Robitaille. Oh, I forgot I put this guy. This is a pretty big no name. Who the hell is Wayne Gretzky again? Luc Robitaille. My top line is Luc Robitaille, the great one of all the NHL, not just Kings players, but just NHL in general. Wayne Gretzky, and then Dave Taylor is my right wing. My second line, again, I picked more of players that I know of than players that really performed well. So this one is going to be, and also I didn't really organize this from best to worst. Well, actually, no, I'll do it right now. So my second line is Charlie Simmer, Marcel Dion, and then Dustin Brown, the captain who won us our cups, obviously. My third line is Michael Camilleri, Bernie Nichols, and Jim Fox. And then my last line is Tanner Pearson, Mike Richards, and Mr. Game 7, Justin Williams. That guy was a helper and a savior 2014 Cup run. In fact, he won the Conn Smythe. Our defense is pretty nasty. My first line is Rob Blake and Drew Doughty, the $11 million a year man. My second line is Jake Muzzin and Matt Green. Both of them very helpful for our cup run, as well as the third line as well, Rob Scuderi and Alec Martinez. And then for goalies, these two, I think LA Kings probably have the best. Extension of goalies in all of the NHL. It was hard to pick two, but the two I went was Jonathan Quick and Kelly Rudy. But if you go through the history of Kings goalies, like not only just like goalies that played a long career for LA, but also goalies that spent a tiny amount of time in LA who are Hall of Famers. Because like even though we didn't have for a long time, Felix Potvin was still a King. And I know there's a lot of names that I didn't put on that list. For jokes, I could have put Jeremy Roenick just for shits and giggles, but I didn't. Because it feels like every single person could say they had Jeremy Roenick on our team, just like every single person out there could say Shaq played for their team. But yeah. Also, it was a little bit tougher than I thought. It was a little bit tougher than I thought. Not too many big name players as I thought there was.
Yeah, mine's gonna be a little light because Panthers really haven't had that much success. But my top line is Pavel Bure, Jonathan Huberdeau, and Alexander Barkov, David Booth, Ole Jokinen, Jaromir Jagr, Nathan Horton, Ed Jovanovski, Jaromir Jagr. I got Scotty Opshaw, Struckland, though the first Panthers captain. The defense, I mean, I only got Ekblad, Bolmester, and Willie Mitchell, but we got two good lovable goalies though. I'll start with the backup because I need to save the best for last. The Beezer, the guy who basically started the guy who gave the name the Rat Trick because Scott Melby killed the rat. The reason why I have that little plastic rat, I didn't get it now because I'm tired as hell. And of course, last week, when our baseball show, we mentioned the big, sexy Bartolo Colon. We got another player that we all love, Bobby Lou Roberto Luongo in net. Lou.
There's somebody you left out though.
I'm
curious.
I just finished now.
There was something you left out. There's a name that I'm like, why did he not mention? Oh yeah, you didn't mention what's the name I'm thinking of?
What?
Oh yeah, Trevor Kidd.
What era did he play for? I don't remember him.
Trevor Kidd played his first game was as a Panther in '99.
Oh. Yeah, I don't remember him that much.
Yeah, I know, because that's definitely a name that a lot of
I'm probably gonna get like my rat's gonna be taken away from me now, apparently.
Well, no.
Cry now.
No,
I don't.
There's a lot of good Panthers. Oh, John Van Beesbrook is another shout. Well, that's the name you did say. You said. You said Van Beesbrook.
Yeah, of course.
You said Van
Beesbrook. The Beezer.
Beezer. You said Van Beesbrook.
Yeah, he's the one who coined the Rat Trick name.
Man, you had a lot of goalies actually, and some of them are really good goalies. You had Jacob Markstrom.
Oh yeah, we had. We had
Antti Niemi.
Volkun. Yeah, we had Antti Niemi, Volkun. Ed Balfour.
Damn, not bad. Jose Theodore.
Yeah. Yeah, we had Jose Theodore.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, Jonathan
you
Marshall
know,
show too.
yeah, he plays in Vegas now. We didn't
He's the
protect
guy
him.
that, yeah, he's the guy that you guys lost in the expansion draft.
Him and I think one more player, Marchessault, and this other Kings player. Fuck, it's another Kings player that we lost.
Oh,
Let me
Lost
take
Eric
a
Holla,
look.
who ended up scoring
Oh.
an overtime goal in the playoffs for the fucking Golden Knights.
The Golden Knights. Hold on, let me. I know we lost two players in the expansion draft, Marchessault, but I'm forgetting the other name. And I have it on the tip of my tongue, but I just have a massive brain fart. Let me take a look.
um.
Let's see.
Anyway, yeah. Speaking of that, though, doing a checkup on the scores before we close out here. Wild are still ahead by one
Riley
goal
Smith.
going
That's
into.
the other player we lost.
Who was it?
Riley Smith. That's another player we lost to
Uh,
Vegas.
At this moment in time to close out the show, Minnesota is up by one goal, starting to head into the third period on the Golden Knights. The Coyotes are up by 2 on the Avalanche right now. What else? What else did I miss? Right now, the Blues are up 1-0 on the Sharks. The Sens and Oilers are tied. Still to come tonight in a little while is the Kings versus Ducks and Canadians versus Canucks. Anyway, other than that, anything else you guys want to address?
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for
Kind
watching.
of a another calm week.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a lot of calm weeks because it's the NHL. It's not as exciting as a lot of other sports teams, but when those exciting days comes, trust me, it's going to make a lot of sense why we have this show and why there needs to be time just for this show. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you heard, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell because we really, really, really need support here on YouTube. I know we don't get as much traction as a lot of other shows, so if you did enjoy, please make sure to stick around. Tune in on Wednesday as we will be talking a lot of good football, some good spring training news, as the NFL and the MLB just get even more exciting as days continue going. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you all later.